Cover two. Welcome, everybody, to the Cover 2 Fantasy Football Podcast. We are back for the final episode of the final mock draft where we go over what happened. What could we have done better? So let's look at the draft board. So here's our full draft, teams 1 through 12. We are doing a 12-team, 15-round, non-PPR draft. It started with Jonathan Taylor, Cook, and McCaffrey, which I was a little shocked that I thought I was going to have to choose between Cook and Eckler and probably Najee. But there was some lady luck on my side to get Henry. The draft went very heavily wide receiver, which is not a shocker to get the top wide receiver, especially at team 12. What is a shock is seeing Kelsey go at the back end of the first round. I'm not saying that he's not worth that kind of pick, but in this day and age of running backs, you really need to get a running back in your first option. If not your first pick, definitely your second pick. And to take a guy like Tyreek Hill after that, who has a couple of question marks being his quarterback in Tua, I would have taken a running back like maybe Swift or Kamara or Chubb at round 12. But as the draft went on, Allen went early as well. That kind of helped me get a guy in Jones because I think that should have been another running back there. With that, some tight ends went off the board, and a Fournette pick allowed Zeke to fall into my lap, which I could not resist. That kind of hurt me in the wide receiver end where we had a huge run in wide receivers from Team 12 through Team 8. But that landed me with DJ Moore in Carolina because Cooper, I don't know who's throwing to him yet. And, of course, Jackson, we weren't going to go for Jackson in this particular non-PPR draft. So that landed us with the decision between a wide receiver like Godwin, Judy, Sutton, or Mike Williams. And we really liked Cooks, and we thought we could wait. We were right, as we got Edwards and Cooks in the next 2 rounds, which was huge for us. The draft went on and got a lot of some interesting picks that, you're those wide receivers that are, their second year. Thielen went to a guy that already had Jefferson, so that was kind of crazy. And then Patterson went right before it. If Patterson was there, I'd probably take my 5th running back. And that is crazy and psychotic, but I would be able to take a couple of trades, which would be huge, and make my team even better. So taking Patterson would probably have been my pick there, but I didn't get it, which is probably a good thing because I got Smith-Schuster. Moving on from Smith-Schuster, it went to Brandon Ayuk. Then I saw that the quarterbacks kind of fleeting, where I had a choice between if I didn't draft a quarterback now, I was going to have to wait for a Carr or a Cousins, as these guys drafted, or maybe I lose out and get a Matt Ryan or Tua, which I'm not a fan of. So taking Stafford in that offense is the number one thing I had to do. After doing that, obviously all the tight ends I would want went off the board. So it allowed me to take a Gallup, who could be a top receiver in Dallas, which would be huge. Lazard fell into my lap as well because I don't see everybody really clamoring for him now that Adams is gone. We don't know who's going to be the star in Green Bay, but we do know that Lazard is a speed demon, and if he can catch that ball, he's going to be the guy that you want in that team. So I'm excited to have him. Then it went through, and we had a couple of different picks at wide receiver in Galladay, Landry, Pickens, and Dobson, that rookie. I think this is where I messed up. I probably should have taken more and got another wide receiver, but with all the wide receivers I had just taken, I thought maybe I can find a running back in Houston that probably will start. So I did take my 5th running back there. Got my tight end finally at Fant. And then to keep it really even, I made sure to draft my kicker and my defense. And I feel like I still got the number 1 defense here. But if you check out my team compared to, let's say, Team 3, better running backs, better wide receivers, or less risk, that's for sure. Team 1, I would say I got better running backs again with Barkley. We don't know what Hall's going to be the number 1 starter. Maybe Michael Carter will be. Obviously, they're promoting that he's going to start. But with him and Walker, who we don't know who's going to be the 3-headed monster in Seattle, that's a kind of risk in those top 4. We know who's starting in my 4. They're all starting. He did get a better quarterback. Edmonds and Jones, interesting picks. Jones could be a touchdown vulture for Kansas City in my CEH. But, Gronk is there, and he had Pitts already. So, I don't know. Team 1, I think I beat Team 1. Team 2, you got Dillon and Williams. Good starters, the 2 starters, but Dillon's going to be a backup. Mooney and Williams and Boyd and Cooper, that doesn't seem like a good team to me. So I think I beat 1 through 3 easily. Team 5, we got Eckler, Samuel, Evans, Waller, I apologize. Sutton and Burks, that's an upside at Tennessee. Patterson, Stevens, Gainwell. That is a good team. I mean, he got a lot of big picks that came to him. Taking 2 rookies, Folk and the Seahawks. Team 5 is dangerous, especially if Eckler has another solid season like he did last year. Team 6 went heavy wide receivers. Running back wise, Harris, Robinson, and Madison. Some guys that if there's some injuries could be stars, so that's interesting. Schultz and Ertz, some decent tight ends. Team 6 is good. 7, Jefferson, Judy, Brown, Thielen. Not the best. Chubb, Montgomery, Dobbins, not bad if Dobbins is healthy. Henry and Pat, good. Team 7's good, not great. Team 8 had some good running backs. Sanders is a really big pick because Sanders has been getting really shelled after that last season, not giving him the ball. And then when he got the ball, he excelled. I see Philly now concentrating on that. So that's why I don't see a guy like A.J. Brown being a huge upside. Sanders should be up on your board this season. Team 8's pretty good. And I looked at Team 9 through 12 and wasn't anything to write home about, especially Team 12 because they got their running backs at the very end, and it's a lot of risk reward. So as we go through our season and in your upcoming year, it's good to have drafts like this to get that confidence up. I feel like I probably had a B draft. I could have taken some better wide receivers, but overall, I'm comfortable with this team. Thank you for going on the second mock draft journey with me. I'm excited to get into my next unit when we talk about all 32 teams and some guys that you really want to watch out for as you gear up. Somebody you want to move up on your draft board, move down your draft board. But we will get into that as we do for the next 32 days. But until then, cover 2. Cover 2.